life of one of the most important.
Have you ever been called a mean name?
I want to tell you about Camp Hughes. The year.
I'm Cassidy Rose.
And I'm Jan.
Welcome to Canada's history through the eyes of young citizens. Today we have films created by Manitoba filmmakers.
These films were chosen from community heritage fairs across Manitoba. They reflect on Canadian heroes and key events in Canada's history.
First, we have a film by Emily about a community that trained soldiers for the First World War.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I want to tell you about Camp Hughes. The year was 1914, and war was declared in Europe. Canada promised 500,000 soldiers to the war effort, which was a lot at the time, since the entire population of Canada was only 6 million. Camp Hughes was originally called Camp Sewell and opened in 1909. In 1915, it was renamed Camp Hughes after Sir Sam Hughes, who was Canada's Minister of Militia and Defence. The camp was created because Military District 10, which consisted of Manitoba, Northwestern Ontario, and Saskatchewan, was in need of a training camp. The camp was located 10 kilometers west of Carberry, Manitoba. The site was chosen because it could be reached by railway, and the ground was good for artillery, cavalry, and infantry unit training. In order to train a large number of men, Camp Hughes was expanded, and in 1916 was the second largest community in Manitoba next to Winnipeg. Over 30,000 soldiers trained at Camp Hughes, and it was the second largest training camp in Canada. In addition to the area where the men lived, there were other buildings such as 6 movie theaters, retail stores, a hospital, and a large heated in-ground swimming pool. Training at Camp Hughes included grenade, cavalry, artillery, and trench training. The trenches at the camp were designed to be like the ones they would use in battle in Europe. Over 10 kilometers of trenches of different types were built at Camp Hughes. Camp Hughes was abandoned in 1927 and was officially decommissioned in 1933 as part of an unemployment relief project. One of the men who trained at Camp Hughes was my great-grandfather, Sergeant Samuel Kemp Gibson. Originally enlisted with the 222nd Battalion, he was transferred to the 44th Battalion when he arrived overseas. Sergeant Gibson was sent to France, where he fought in battles such as Vimy Ridge and Passchendaele. He was wounded 3 different times in battle. My great-grandfather received the Military Medal and Bar for Bravery, the British War Medal, and Victory Medal. He was one of the fortunate men to survive the war and was discharged June 6, 1919.
This is what remains of Camp Hughes today. Even though much of the trenches have been filled in, you can still get a sense of what it might have been like 100 years ago. Camp Hughes was designated a Provincial Heritage Site in 1994 and a National Historic Site in 2012. Camp Hughes is the only remaining World War I trench training ground in North America. Manitoba has a very proud history for its contribution to World War I, and Camp Hughes provides a physical reminder of this. Even though Camp Hughes has a provincial and national designation, the land is not totally protected. A fence has been built around much of the area and is maintained by several organizations. However, the land is owned by the Government of Canada and is leased as agricultural. This means that cattle are still allowed to graze on the land, which puts the features of the camp at risk. World War I was originally called the Great War because nothing like it had ever happened before in modern times. 600,000 Canadians served in the war, 172,000 were wounded, and over 66,000 lost their lives. Places like Camp Hughes should be protected so that generations to come can learn what it was like for Canadians in World War I. We should always remember the great sacrifices that were made for us all.
I'm here with Emily, the filmmaker behind this film. What is important to you about Camp Hughes?
Well, the fact that my great-grandfather trained for World War I many years ago is important to me. And also there are lots of other men who trained there for World War I. And also it is a heritage site, so that also makes it very important.
What did you like about making your video?
Well, when I was making my video, I really enjoyed planning my script, and I also had lots of fun when I was editing my film. I liked playing around with the different effects and transitions and just experimenting with the different types of music, so that was really fun.
Thanks, Emily. We'll be right back after this.